My name is Skeff Anselm, and you're watching Visual Caffeine. Peace.
Yo, peace and respect. Welcome to another episode, Visual Caffeine. I'm your host, John Robinson, and we're here with an esteemed guest. This is a brother that I met actually a couple years ago now, and been wanting to interview him for a while, just to have these conversations, to talk about some times that we all are very familiar with and we hold dear to our hearts. Let's welcome to the stage, and let's welcome to the show the brother Skeff Anselm. Peace, brother. Did I say it correct?
It's actually Anselm.
Anselm. So we were talking real quick. We were talking off camera, and as most of us know, Fife, the tribe shout out, the Fife tip shout out when they give props. Skeff Anselm, he gets props too. I've just been told we've been pronouncing it wrong this entire time. So just to make the correction to hip hop on note, Skeff Anselm.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Welcome, man.
Blessings.
Word up. So, brother, I want to go back and say, the first time we met, Brooklyn Museum, a couple years ago now, and a picture was posted online, and a friend, a comrade, wrote in quotes, "He gets props too." And immediately it made me say, you know what? I know Skeff mainly for working with Tribe. I'm sure other people feel the same way, but through talking to you, I learned a lot more. And then doing my research, I learned a lot more. But let's start there with Tribe. Like, what was your introduction to working with Tribe? Which member did you meet first? How did that happen?
Q-Tip. His sister and myself knew each other first before I knew Tip.
Dope.
I grew up in the Bronx. My best friend, his cousin lived out in Queens.
Okay.
And they went to his cousins went to high school with Q-Tip's sister.
Got it.
And we used to go on picnics in the summer, and Q-Tip's sisters would be coming down with my friend's cousins.
Got it.
And we used to all go on picnics, and that's initially when I met Q-Tip. And Q-Tip was about 14, 15 when I first met him.
Word. Wow. So that's dope. So at the time you meet Q-Tip, is he already on the music tip?
No, he wasn't.
Got it.
No,
wow.
Wasn't.
So this is before the music.
Yes.
So doing my research, I learned that Skeff Anselm is also not just an engineer, but you're a producer.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about that producer world. What led you into the music and being a producer, being an engineer?
Well, actually, when I went to I have family who was in the music business. I have a cousin, lead singer of a disco group called GQ.
No doubt.
They used to rehearse in our basement because I used to live in the same house with him. And pretty much that was the bug that started me off around music. And also in the neighborhood that I grew up with, all the original DJs used to DJ in the park in the Bronx.
No doubt.
I grew up 3 blocks from Bronx River Project. Wow. So when Africa Bambaataa used to be playing outside, I couldn't hear the music from my window.
No doubt.
So the music was always around me.
Got it.
The introduction into the engineering thing, one day I was trying to figure out after high school what I was going to do with my life.
True.
So I was doing a little soul searching, and I was working my mother was a supervisor at the nursing home. So I was doing that. I'm fast forward, while I was working there part-time, some senior workers was like, I need to do something else with my life.
No doubt.
They clicked something in my brain to say, you need to look for something else.
No doubt.
So I was having to be looking in the back of the Daily News, and they had a media school called Center for the Media Arts on 26th Street in Manhattan.
Got it.
And it was for television operators. I said, that looks interesting. Maybe I get into know how to work a TV camera.
No doubt.
Then looking on the page, they had recording, and no, actually I went for the camera. Then I went to a seminar they was having, and a recording engineer popped up, and I was like, wow, music is here. So I flipped to engineering.
No doubt.
So while I was going to school for engineering, I ran into Africa Bambaataa.
Got it.
Because I know him from the neighborhood. And he told me Jazzy J, my mentor, was starting to build a home studio. So I'm going to here's Jay's number. I'll tell Jay that you're going to call him. And he connected both of us together.
Got it.
And this is the original DJ Jazzy J.
Nice. Respect to Jazzy J. I was going to ask you, how'd you meet Jazzy J? So that was the connection.
Same neighborhood. Same.
Got it.
I knew Jay from the neighborhood, but we never really hung. I just see him in passing and we used to say, what's up?
No doubt.
You know, and whatnot.
No doubt.
And that was my introduction into the engineering side of music. And pretty much Jay took me in. While I was going to school, I was doing hands-on also by being an assistant to Jay while he was working on his projects.
Got it. Let's talk about the last time we saw each other. We were at BB King's
Correct.
celebration, 25 years, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop.
Correct.
Diamond D's debut album. As we're there, we're conversing. You had a lot to do with the behind-the-scenes working of that record too.
Yes, I engineered on that album too, the Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop album.
No doubt. So let's go back to one of those sessions. If you could paint for us a memorable moment creating that record.
Well, all I remember is that Diamond, which another pupil of Jazzy J, we started pretty much like Jay just being a fly on the wall, what Jay was pretty much teaching both of us.
No doubt.
And we grew together. Myself on the engineering, Diamond was already DJing. Then he started getting into the production side, which, like I said, which he learned from Jay as well.
Dope.
But then prior to the Stunts Blunt, me and Diamond go back to the Ultimate Force. He was in a group called Ultimate Force with Master Rob. So Jay and myself was working with them on that project.
Nice.
So by the time Diamond moved on to his first album, he was doing a lot of, buying a lot of records, and he was just coming through with crazy ideas.
No doubt.
And eventually he started working. We had moved to a new location in the Bronx from a home studio to a professional commercial spot. And then by that time, Diamond started working on his first album.
Dope.
And he was just coming with ideas like crazy.
Nice.
Every day he was recording, and there you go.
It's definitely a classic. It was dope to be there, see the brother come with the album in entirety.
Right.
Skits in the whole nine. The brothers doing the skits were there. Mm-hmm. All the guests. It was dope.
Yes, it was.
Dope.
It was.
Word up. We were talking a little off camera about gear.
Correct.
I want to ask you, we'll talk about the modern stuff, but going back,
right,
to when you were in your prime into this and really, mixing these records, etc. What were your go-tos in the studio? What was the gear that you loved most?
There was a lot of hardware back then. I like on our board stuff, Lexicon had a lot of software, hardware that we used to like working with. Roland, Yamaha.
Word.
All this different type Pool Tech EQs and Tube Tech EQs and
no doubt.
A lot of stuff that all that tribe stuff, we'll get to it, but all that tribe stuff you hear on the bottom was run through a Pool Tech and Tube Tech.
That's what's up.
EQs.
That's what's up. So speaking of tribe, man, we gotta mention you worked on both Low End Theory and Midnight. Right?
Yes.
You produced on
Low End. I produce Everything Is Fair and Show Business.
Got it. Okay.
And in Show Business, as you can see, is with Brand Nubians on there.
Yeah.
And also Diamond D.
No doubt.
Again.
No doubt. Yeah, man. No, that's one of my favorite records.
Yeah.
Because of, just that collaboration at the time. I felt like it was a very powerful collab.
Right.
Let's talk about working with Brand Nubian. Is that the only time you worked with them? Or?
Brand Nubian, I was part of the foundation of getting that group started.
Word.
I was their initial engineer. I recorded the demo that got them their deal.
That's what's up.
As you know, Grand Poobah and myself, we started together as well. Masters of Ceremony, yes. I recorded their whole album.
Yes.
So Poobah and myself, we was not just working together, we was brothers.
That's what's up.
We spent time together. We hung together, drank together, smoked together. You name it. We did it all. You know, so naturally, when he was putting together Brand Nubians, it's this continuation.
No doubt.
You know, with the relationship.
No doubt. Yeah, we had Sadat here recently, man. Peace to Sadat, peace to the Brand Nubian brothers.
Yes.
And he was telling us about that early time where he said basically him and Jamar was solo artists.
Correct.
You know, working on separate projects. And I can't remember who he said kind of gave them an idea of, yo, man, y'all should be a group.
I think what happened with Pooh when Pooh was shopping both of them, he had a problem placing them, getting them a deal. So I think it was Pooh initially. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct the history, but I think it was Pooh was like, let's just make a group and shop them as a group.
So let's talk about modern gear. You know what I'm saying? I know that, you're from the era of hardware,
Correct.
Drum machines, SP1200s, MPC.
Further than that, I go with the DMX.
See?
Before there was a SP12.
Got it.
All the stuff like Stick Ricks, the
DMX.
shows and DX.
Who
The
makes
DMX
the
and DX. Obenheim.
Yes.
All the earlier stuff. All the Run DMC stuff, all that stuff was
that a sampler or just
a drum machine?
Right? Just
no
a drum
sampler.
Machine. Got it.
Everything was played live back in those days.
That's what's up.
Nobody was really sampling back in those days.
Wow. So when did you first get into sampling?
We started first getting into it. We had the SP12.
Okay.
And at that time, that's what was,
What was the sampling time on that? Do you remember?
12-bit sample. Like about probably like maybe about
like
about
a few seconds.
5 seconds, 10 seconds. It was really short.
Wow.
So all you had to do, to get things to work is to speed up the record as fast as you can go to get as much as you can get into it, and then pitch it down, slow it down. So that's where you get that 12-bit sample and that hard, gritty sound, and whatnot. So that was the first piece of equipment we started using in reference to sampling, till the Akai 900 came out.
Got it.
S900.
And that's the rack?
That's the rack mount sampler, which gave you a lot more time, gave you like 3 minutes.
Doubt. Because
10 minutes,
the
5, 10 minutes.
S950, I feel like is in a lot of hip hop studios.
That was in every studio, studio, recording studio, and I don't think just hip hop was using it. Other genres of music was using it too, because they was using it to sample vocals. So it would sample choruses and fly the whole chorus. So having you doing the chorus, sample the whole chorus and place them where you need to place them.
No doubt. Yeah, no, that was a revolutionary time, especially with, I feel like, people connecting machines, like MIDIing machines, and it was really helping. I saw it mostly used in hip hop, primarily, like you said, to give more time. Get more creative. Now you go from that 5 or 10 seconds to 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
And it's grew and grew. Now you have you have the computer software kicking now. It allows you to do a whole.
So what are you working on now? Like in terms of your setup, what's your setup look
my
like
setup
now?
right now, I'm using Machine.
Okay.
And I have a native what you call it? My controller is just a standard controller, nothing extravagant. But Machine is my my go-to right now.
So what would you say are some pros and some cons of like updating to software versus back in the day using hardware?
Speed allows you to create a lot faster, and also the quality is definitely a lot better.
Word.
And that's what I like about it. I always love quality.
No doubt. So any cons?
The only con is if your hard drive or something crashes.
No doubt.
That's gone,
Yeah.
That's the only. Besides that, not really.
No, I feel you. I definitely agree on the workflow, the efficiency. I mean, the quality too, just because you're talking about, all these high levels of HD sounds and, technology is taking it to a whole nother level. in terms of new music and new things you're creating,
Right.
anything you're working on now?
Yes, I'm in the process of working on my first, and I think it might be my only album. Reaching out to some old friends,
No doubt.
and I got some new friends that I'm working with, on this project, and hopefully it'll do what it's supposed to do.
Word.
I'm going hard on it. I'm trying to make sure it sounds right, and
No
I hope the listeners will love it.
So what can we expect in terms of just sonically?
Sonically, it's gonna be a little all over the place. There's gonna be
Dope.
samples. There's gonna be a lot of live instruments.
No doubt.
It's gonna be a pot in the pan, hitting whatever sound I can get that's gonna make something sound like something.
doubt.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking. In my research, I came across. I knew about the Tribe remix, the
Mhm.
Check the Rhyme remix. That's
Correct.
like one of my favorite remixes. But also, I didn't know about the Intelligent Hoodlum remix.
Right, Tragic.
That was a joint I've been listening to. I didn't necessarily connect that to you.
Right.
Are there other tunes that you feel like people may not know about, like in those realms of like remixes
on
and
the-
or production credits?
Production. There's a couple of tracks. There's one I did with Search
Okay.
on
MC Search.
MC Search on his first solo album called Hits the Head, which I think
yeah.
people slept on.
No
Never
doubt.
really got the
Yeah.
time of day, but go on YouTube and check it out. Tell me what you all think. I had this too. There was another. Being a West Indian, I love dealing with reggae and dancehall.
No doubt.
There was this two cats from LA, I guess, with Caribbean background. It was on a mixtape album, and it was the group was called Fire,
Okay.
and this
Fire with a Y.
it's spelled like F-I-R-E.
Okay,
Yes,
word.
and that was another song that I think was kind of hard. But there's a few.
No doubt.
There's a few. There's this cat's from Atlanta. If you go on my I have a website now, SkeffAnselm.com. You can check it out. Band full of Pakistans.
Yes.
That was another remix I did.
Y'all so stupid.
You also stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually know some of those brothers.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the original song was produced by X from Atlanta.
Got it.
DJ down there, but it was
Spearhead
X.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spearhead
He did the
X.
original.
No doubt. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Peace to those
out
brothers.
of a few on the remix side.
Definite. So fast forward into, today's music, today's hip hop industry and things that are happening. In creating a new project, like how do you feel about delivering it to the world? Like what are, have you thought about any ideas of releasing it to the world, like what that looks like for you, coming from a time where there was like a traditional setup where everything was on a clock and a time, and now it's
Right.
more free form?
Doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, I'm a lover of music. The vibe that we have right now, lyrically, some of the stuff I can, let it go by the wayside.
No doubt.
But as somebody who comes from the musical aspect of it, there's a lot of production out there I love. Some of it is carbon copy,
No doubt.
but I try to cipher through the stuff that is the original that makes the carbon copy's copy of. So I go to the originator of that style and follow
Got it.
that music,
Absolutely.
and that's what drives me to create. When I hear something that is crazy hot, it makes me like, damn, it just something clicks in my brain and it just makes me want to go build some more.
No
And that's
doubt.
how I was back in the day. If you hear Dre drop something, and I've got to go on that level. If you hear Dre drop something, Primo,
Absolutely.
whoever,
Yeah,
Tip,
that was the
whoever,
motivation. Yeah.
I was in that vein of building. We was building off each other at that time.
No doubt.
It wasn't up or down. I was just, that was the energy I was building, and I do the same today. So all the younger producers coming up, you have something that's fire.
Mm-hmm.
I feed off of it.
Word.
Not to say I'm going to try to create what you're doing, but it keeps me to let me know that yes, you can still keep creating and put something out there that people will like.
No doubt. Do you have any like dream artists that you haven't worked with that you want to work with one day?
Yeah. Kendrick.
Word.
Of the top,
what's
you know,
up.
Kendrick, J. Cole.
Dope.
You know, just two to start off with.
No doubt. Yeah, that was my next question leading into, like, are there any new artists that you've been listening to?
Yeah, definitely. There's brother on the West Coast who just dropped Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, shouts to Nipsey.
Crazy.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's what I'm listening to right now, man.
No doubt. No, I'm definitely feeling a lot of what's happening. You know, I feel like a lot of stuff gets brushed under the rug, like there's not this huge shift of powerful things happening in hip hop stirred by young people. But then also we gotta admit there's a disconnect happening as well, where I feel like a lot of the pioneers feel disrespected by the younger generation. A lot of the younger generation don't feel embraced by
Correct.
the pioneers. What do you feel in some ways we could kind of like
Connect the bridges.
Yeah, connect the bridges, man.
First thing I think it has to stand. First thing is respect, because when we was coming up, the older cats before us,
Yeah,
or the older generation before us was saying the same thing that we're saying about what this younger cats is doing.
you're right. You're right.
You know, and yes, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and they're not dropping, you know, crazy bars and whatnot. But in their heads, they feel they're being creative.
Absolutely.
You know, it's for their peers to really judge.
No doubt.
You know, for us older cats, you know, we just have to there's still stuff out there for us.
Totally.
You know, it's not, the door's not closed on
Yeah.
music.
No, I totally agree.
It's not.
And to add to that, I feel that a lot of times when that conversation comes up, I think back and say, you know, when I was 15, 16 years old, did 40-year-olds and 45-year-olds dig the music I was listening to? Definitely not.
Right.
But it was, in my heart and mind, some of the most potent, integrity-filled music that you could come across, but it went over their heads.
But you know something? Now, that generation that you said who wasn't digging it
Yeah.
is digging it now.
They are digging.
Because it took them time to really, when they compare what's happening now to what we was doing back in the 90s,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this is really dope.
Yeah. And it's more so
Because content, there was more content, more body.
Yeah, and it wasn't industry driven. It was
No.
created
Yes.
from the creators who were making it based on the feeling, what they were experiencing, you know, in the world, in their communities, etc. And it leaked on to
Into mainstream. But the thing is, like you said, touching on what you just said, back then, it didn't feel like it was an industry thing for us. It felt like we was just having fun with music, doing hip hop.
no doubt.
It started from our neighborhoods, and we just put it on wax. It's an extension of what we was doing in the parks and
Absolutely.
the community centers and the high school gyms, and it's just stretched onto wax, and then stretched onto CD, and then stretched onto streaming.
No doubt.
You know, it's the same concept. You know,
Truly. No, and we're getting to a point now where we were just talking about that. A lot of people want to fight the new way things are going.
correct.
And I feel like you shouldn't fight it. You should, number one, just find your space in it and put your touch and your swing on it. How do you feel about that?
I think you're right, because there's enough space for everybody to listen. How many people in this planet? Okay, you do a song, and if 1 million people listen to it, 100,000 like it,
Yeah.
you're good.
Word.
You're good.
Word.
You're not gonna make 1 million people happy all the time. But if it's 100,000 people is happy, that's the main objective. Is that you can't make the planet happy. You can't touch everybody on the planet. But if you're touching somebody, it's better than nobody.
No doubt. Yeah, man. Another thing I want to touch on, Skeff, is because this is a very real thing. When we were talking off camera, we were talking about just that balance of being able to create without worrying about life's essentials. How I'm gonna keep my lights on, how I'm
Yes.
gonna feed my kids, how I'm gonna pay my bills, period. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? What's that balance like? Because we were talking about that, and you're in the zone now where you're living that and have been living that, where you literally can ride the middle and be like, yo, I'm creating, I'm doing this, things are handled.
Well, the blessing is that I'm an artist from behind the scene. I'm not an artist in the front on the stage. This is more geared for artists who have to make a living off of their music.
No doubt.
Because at the end of the day, even behind the scenes, if the check is, if you're a young kid, 17, 18, 19, and you're just starting to get into life and you're making, some money here, you're good because all you need is just you.
Absolutely.
But when you start getting older and the game is changing, you start having kids, the industry is not saying, well, we're giving you a family package to give you, take care of the Similac and your Pampers and
healthcare,
your healthcare and the family pack. They're not thinking about that.
Definitely.
So at the end of the day, the pressure comes on you to an artist to perform and keep income coming into his home to take care of his family. So there's a lot of stress to also be creative because you're balancing both worlds, and it's not easy.
Agreed, man.
Trying to do that. So the bottom line is just for those who can hold down, if you're a part-time job or whatever, allows you to be flexible and be an artist or engineer or whatever you're going to be. You got to learn how to balance those two, because at the end of the day, when one is not working, the other one is working. So it's better to have two tires rolling than just rolling on one.
I agree. No, I totally agree. I always, like I was saying earlier, I always tell young people coming up, find yourself a way to sustain.
Yes.
That's not going to suck all your creative energy out or have you to the point as soon as you get home, you're ready to pass out and you gave away all your energy.
It's true, because, not to stay too long on this topic, but it's heartbreaking when I hear artists, people starting to go meet funds, artists are sick, or I haven't heard stories from artists, here and overseas that they died and they have no money to bury them. That is sad, where artists cannot, or their families cannot support in sick and healthy times. So coming into this business, it's exactly what it is. It's a business. It's a business. The industry is out to pimp you, so you gotta learn how to pimp the system. Otherwise you'll be the hole in the corner, and somebody else will be making the money, and you're not meeting your bills.
Great point. Great point. And this is a topic that I feel like, especially in this time, we've been losing a lot of people due to health, due to not having enough insurance, due to, just really the life of an artist, hard life, barely no sleep,
That's it.
Partying hard, etc.
That catches up to you.
Yeah, man. What's Skeff's life nowadays in the health and wellness department? Like, how do you feel about, just overall health and wellness in your own personal life?
I'm in a great space because God is great, brother.
Dope.
I'm in a great space. I had to learn from looking at experiences of cats before me, whether it be artists or engineers, just partying hard, living hard. And then my peers was my same age, and watching brothers, even a couple years younger than me, pass away from not taking care of himself. As you know, diabetes is strong in the black community. So drinking, sugar, all that stuff, you gotta start taking care of yourself, man, because I know you're trying to hang, especially you start reaching in your 40s and trying to hang with cats in their 18, 19, 20s and doing like you still 18, 19, 20.
Invincible youth.
It's going to take toll on your health, and it's sad because it breaks my heart to see people not tap into that. And as for me, I've used all that as a lesson to pattern myself into how I eat, how I balance things out. And, yes, I may look thin, but on the inside, it may be a whole different story. So you still have to take care of yourself.
True. Yeah, no, and I even asked that question just because I feel like with all of the scenarios of brothers and sisters dying young due to health issues, it's waking a lot of people up. It's making people make changes and think differently about.
Yeah, especially in hip hop. That's a topic that, you know, everybody should be putting a lot of emphasis on. You know, there shouldn't be other forms of existence that only there they do it. Hip hop should be, that's part of the package deal. Health and wellness. Take good care of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed, man. Agreed. So moving forward, man, I wanted to ask, is there anything Skeff likes to do that may be connected to what we know you for that we may not know of? You know, something you're good at, another gift you have that we may not know about.
Well, a lot of my gifts I like working with, you know, my hands in reference to carpentry. I like to build. I like to build things.
Dope.
You know, my place. I built my whole kitchen. I did my whole bathroom. You know, and it's something I've been doing. That's with the music, hands on. I even did construction when I was younger.
No doubt.
Even with the music thing, when the music thing slowed down, I did construction.
Got it.
You know, because it was still part of my passion. Just because it's not music, don't mean it's another gift that God gave me. We all have more than one gift, and that's another gift that I utilize is learning how to do, you know, and even also interior decorating. I mean, sound like but no, I like interior decorating. I like, you know, designing. I think architect, you know, is another thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I love it. I feel like we're in a time now in hip hop where a lot of people in hip hop specifically, no matter what you do within the culture, are finding other things that translate well to the platforms they built. You know,
it's
something
true.
like
It's true.
interior decorating. You know, we may laugh at that, but yo, this hip hop is buying these major cribs who don't know how to get it together.
And I'm saying, you can pay somebody something you can do yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, but we all have gifts. You know, you have Jerobi, for example, cooks. You know, and he's great at what he does. He's a chef.
No doubt.
You know, and there's a lot of artists and people behind the scenes who do more things than just music.
Absolutely. So let's again tell people where they can find you online to tune in.
Yes, you can find me at Skeff Anselm on Facebook, Instagram, and also you can go to skeffanselm.com.
Dope. And are you still working as an engineer currently?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Word. Yo, we here, we live. We got behind the scenes, man. We talked about a lot of different things, man. I want to thank you, brother, for coming to build with us.
Sure.
You're here on Visual Caffeine. I'm JR, Skeff Anselm, and
Peace.
you're rocking with the best. Peace.